Hello, everybody, and welcome to another iconic episode of A Good Lawyer podcast, part of the EIL network, Excellence in Lawyering. Folks, I am Esteban Stephen Garcia, your non lawyer, coast to coast opinion host. And this is where I delve in to the captivating world of brilliant legal minds, such as with our guest today, in hopes of enriching yours. Folks, we have a great one for you today. From everything I've been hearing, it just doesn't get any better than her. Her name is VENISHA Arnold, and she's out of H-Town, Houston, Texas. She's running and heading up a personal injury law firm titled the Arnold Law Firm, and si habla en español. The Arnold Law Firm can be found in Houston, located at 440 Louisiana Street, Suite 900. There, as I mentioned before, Houston, Texas, USA, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming to the podcast VENISHA Arnold. VENISHA,
Thank
welcome
you.
to A Good Lawyer.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate being asked. Thank you so much.
Pleasure is all ours. Trust me on that, Venetia.
Thank you.
So
Thank
tell
you.
the folks a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and what got you started and interested in this wonderful career you have as a lawyer.
Okay. Well, originally I'm from Houston, Texas.
Hmm.
I have two nonprofits here. One is called Persistence is the Key. I have another nonprofit I named after my father, called Henry's Place, the Arnold Foundation. And I recall you said, how did I get interested in law? Well, we would have to go back probably almost 50 years, even though I'm not 50. My dad was a lawyer. And so I guess you could
Hmm.
say it's literally in my blood, like the Arnold Law Firm, my personal injury firm I'm launching. It was originally
Hmm.
supposed to be a father-daughter thing, but my dad is deceased. So, I'm launching it. I have other attorneys, of course, that help me with this. But that's originally how I got into law. You could even say my dad, but I came to it on my own. I did. My second year in college, I was talking to my father about it, about going to law school, and he thought that was
Hmm.
great,
Hmm.
So that's how it started.
He essentially mentored you in this decision and the road, so to speak.
When I started law school, my dad was deceased by then. So, I really had to want this, which I did, and I still do to this day. I love being an attorney. I really do. I love everything I've done from contract work to going through the process of launching my own law firm. Like my
Hmm.
billboard has gone up today.
Hmm.
So out here in Houston, my billboard
I
went,
saw that.
yeah.
Congratulations on
Thank
that.
you, thank you, thank you. Because as soon as we finish this, I'm driving out there to, get better photos of it, of course, and so I'm excited about that, and I just, I wanna help injured Texans. That's the goal, of course, of my personal injury firm, and,
Mhm.
what you're doing here is great, helping us lawyers promote, for the greater good.
Well, that's very kind of you to say. And our condolences to you for your dad.
Yeah, yeah.
I just lost my mother not too long ago,
Wow.
and I don't say it ever gets better. It's just you, for me anyway. You just deal with it,
You know
and
how it is.
you know what I mean.
Yeah,
So I get that. So my condolences. So Venetia, you've handled everything from
yeah,
complex corporate litigation,
gosh.
federal investigations, to representing people who have had their whole lives, quite frankly, changed with just one car wreck. Uh, what what changed you? I guess in from what you used to do, as far as the area of law you were in.
Mhm.
What changed you to say, you know what? Uh, I need to represent these folks.
Okay, well, like you said, I've done a lot of I've done a lot of stuff.
Mhm,
With the corporate
mhm,
law is great. It's a great start. I've even talked to other PI attorneys who started off like me in corporate
mhm.
law. And if, playing the corporate game is fine for those who play it. We all have our place in life. But well, one thing I would notice, some people want to say when you go after the insurance companies being like a shark slayer or,
Mhm,
things like that. You have a lot of people that are Like, if they've been injured or hurt, they get help, but they might be getting lowballed, you know? Like, right now, I have a
Mhm.
potential client coming in, that was involved with a, Popular Transportations in Houston. I won't call the name of the company. And, he has limited resources, and, I wanna make sure he doesn't, get per se messed over by the insurance
Right.
company.
Mhm.
So, it really is. I know people look at PI and they look at some of the lawyers because you do really well in it, but I said, "Yeah, but we're helping people. It's not always about, the money." That's what made me kinda do a little shift from corporate, you know?
Sure. And it probably feels better, doesn't it, to help
Absolutely.
these folks?
Absolutely, absolutely, 'cause you're dealing with a lot of the masses, who may have limited resources,
Mhm.
and to be an advocate for them with these companies that will try to lowball them or things like that. It's great to help people. I'll That's what my nonprofits are about, giving back. I literally give away money. I give away clothes. I've given away food,
Mhm.
so with my profession going into personal injury, it's another way of giving back.
Absolutely. And I believe that's true advocacy because you are literally the voice for the voiceless.
Right,
And there's a lot of people that are afraid to try to contact lawyers to help them because they just don't think they have a shot at beating these David and Goliath kind of companies that have unlimited resources.
right,
They feel that there's
right,
no way, little old me, so to speak. And that's the wrong mentality. And I think that's where your true advocacy comes in because you do let them know that they do have a fighting chance. And I find that admirable because, yeah, you could have chosen any other direction to go in uh, for the long haul, if you
right,
will.
right,
And you chose this one, and that's what I truly admire on that about you.
right.
You've you've often said that justice for your injuries. That's
Mhm,
kind of like a slogan of yours.
mhm,
Justice to me is a very powerful word, but
mhm.
it can definitely mean something totally different
Right,
to your clients, and it's different to everyone. In other
right.
words, but what does justice actually look like for your clients?
Well, like, sometimes you have people that are what's the better terms? So banged up,
Hmm. Hmm.
And of course, it's like we're gonna, we're gonna fight to get you
Hmm.
what you need. And because you don't want them to have per se unrealistic expectations. But when you look at someone that's been injured in such a horrible manner,
Hmm.
I just let them know, let us take over, let us handle this. We're gonna make sure you're done right. It's gonna take some time, it's gonna take some
Hmm.
time. Because some of these people are like, "House," I said, "No, it's gonna take some time now."
Hmm.
Because
Hmm.
there's a process here. But, I just need you to listen to everything I'm telling you to do. So, it's gonna take time with it. And also, you were saying about justice for your injuries. Well, like, with one of my nonprofits, I have a slogan that says, "Never settle." Persistence is the key. And you were
Hmm.
saying these people, when they get hurt, they feel that going up against the David and the Goliaths. And I said, "Well, the first process is you gotta pick up the phone and call us,
Hmm.
and let
Hmm.
us deal with that. We'll we are all like Davids against these billion-dollar, trillion-dollar insurance companies.
Yeah.
But, you gotta pick up the phone and call us first because 'cause we're not scared, Lawyers are not scared.
Right.
Call us, and we'll help you out and just do everything we say, but that David and Goliath, don't worry about that. Call us first.
And quite frankly, you are meeting these people, your
Right.
clients, coming to you at the worst parts of their lives, right?
Yes.
Uh, how do you reassure them that they're in good hands when they walk into the Arnold law firm?
Okay, well, see, like, I do PI. I even have people reaching out to me for divorces and even criminal
Mhm.
law, and I understand. I said we're all human beings here. Believe it or
Mhm.
not, I've been in car wrecks. I've had attorneys represent me.
Mhm.
And so I said, look, I know where you're at. I may not have not, like with 18 wheeler clients, it's like no, I may not have necessarily gone through that situation,
Mhm.
but I've been in your shoes. I've been a car wreck victim. I've had
Mhm.
an attorney work it for me, so I
Mhm.
understand what you're dealing with. But I said, Just trust us to handle this. We're going to deal with them. That's why we're here. We're going to fight the insurance companies for you. I hear everything you're saying because I always call my clients. I'm the first person to call them. I'll call them midway through the process. I'm not one of those lawyers where like they call in and they get pushed off on the case manager and you
Mhm.
never really talk to I said, no, 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 I don't do that. That's also how you avoid bad reviews too. But you know,
Yeah.
I I stay I stay in constant contact. If they're really calling and the paralegals, the legal assistants, and I'll say, okay, well, let me give them a call and see what's going on. But I've been in your shoes. I've been a car accident victim. I've dealt with
Mhm.
attorneys. It's been a few years because I've been an attorney almost 10 years. But I understand
Mhm.
what you're going through, but you're just gonna have to trust me.
Mhm.
So I hope that gives them peace.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And that's what they really want. They want somebody to listen to them.
Correct.
They just may need to vent,
Right.
because they lost a loved one.
Right. Yes.
Their son, daughter, husband, spouse, what have you.
Right.
Maybe they're deceased because of this negligence of someone else, right?
Right. Yeah.
Um, and sometimes I feel they just need you to listen, or they need to know that at least somebody cares and
Exactly.
somebody's listening. And
Exactly.
I think you bring that empathy to each and every one of your clients. What does it cost to be kind? What does it cost to be just empathetic to somebody's whose lives have been completely turned upside down, right? I mean,
Right. It costs you nothing. It costs you nothing.
that's
Being
right.
being nice costs you nothing.
That's correct.
Right. Right.
So you've dealt with a lot of clients. I I've always wondered this, and I want to pose this question to you. Would you rather have a likable client, right? And maybe we can also use this as knowing that you may have to face 12 men and women for a jury, right?
Right.
But would you rather have a likable client with just horrible facts? Or would you rather have an unlikable client? And again, speaking with respect to a jury,
Right.
with excellent facts.
Okay. Number one, the clients have to understand this. You need to always be honest with your attorney,
Hmm.
because it's a bad thing to get before a jury and you find out your client omitted facts or hopefully they didn't lie to you, you know,
Yeah.
yeah, they always need to be honest with what has happened because that's going to be a major problem. We have attorney client privilege, so they got to be honest. So out of those two choices you gave me, if I had to pick one, I'm gonna probably have to take the unlikable client who's honest because the client that's the client that's omitting facts or lying, that's going to be a problem. You know,
Yeah.
yeah, that's gonna be a problem. So, always be honest with your lawyer.
And that's what I think so many people miss.
Yeah,
They're afraid that if they tell you everything,
yeah.
that might mess them up, so to speak.
No, no.
In their case, when in fact you're really arming your lawyer with a better defense because
Correct.
now your lawyer knows how to combat that.
Correct. Yes, because the other side can come back and tell you something, and you could tell the other side, "Hey, no, you're lying. That didn't happen." And it's like, "No, it did happen." And it's like, I confer with my client, and it's like, "Wait, you didn't tell me that." So now I
Mhm.
have this element of bad surprise that I can't really help you right now because you weren't honest. So, no, always be honest with your attorney. Always.
That's for sure. A lot of AI is coming to play now with the, like every industry, right?
Right, right.
With regards to the law and lawyering, what do you think AI's future in law is?
Did you hear about
Okay,
those lawyers who, filed something with the court, using AI, and they put in, like, some fake cases and filed that with the court? I think the judge sanctioned them or something. They use
I'm
fake.
glad
Yeah,
you brought that up
yeah.
because there was this big firm. I don't remember them, their
Mhm,
name. I mean,
mhm,
but uh, oddly enough, they were out of
mhm,
Houston,
mhm.
and what they did was they filed this. It was a big case,
Right.
and what I remember seeing the headlines on were that they all got caught. There was like 5 lawyers,
Oh,
with this
wow.
firm,
Okay,
big case,
okay.
and the judge found out that they had used AI to file some kind of very important motion, layperson here.
Right.
So the judge, basically AI got close,
Okay.
but when the judge saw that some of it just didn't make any sense,
Yes.
they, I guess he asked them,
Yeah.
uh, "Did you use AI for this or something?" And when they admitted it, oh boy, the judge blew his stack.
Yeah, and he should have. He should have because there's nothing that makes up for legal research, getting real law, So no,
Right.
yeah, I mean, AI is good for certain things, but it's not good for case law. It doesn't make up
Mhm.
for research. It doesn't even. There are a lot of bad judges out here. Trust me, I know, but it doesn't make up for that or even paralegals. So I mean, I don't know what to say about these lawyers that are filing these fake AI cases and filing it with the court. I think that's what's amazing me so much that they're filing this with the court. I don't know what to say about that.
You know what's shocking is they seem smarter than that.
You would think, you would think, and then they admitted it to the judge. So you
Yeah.
admitted, I just,
It's open court and on the record.
right, right. That's insane. That's insane. But no, AI doesn't make up for legal research. It does not.
Now, can you imagine how the client felt?
And hopefully they reported them to the bar because that is ineffective assistance of counsel.
Yeah,
It's yeah. That is unacceptable. Unacceptable.
I agree. Uh, you're obviously driven professionally, but you're also involved in philanthropy,
Yeah.
fitness,
Um,
and serving your community.
yeah.
I mean, I
Yeah.
love that. When people remember Venetia Arnold 20 years from now, what do you hope they'll say mattered most? The cases you won or the actual lives that you changed along the way?
I definitely would wanna be remembered for helping people and the lives that I changed. Because I actually started my first nonprofit before I got my first law license. Because 'cause I'm licensed in, Washington, DC, and Texas, and
Oh,
I'm
fantastic.
yeah, and so I started my first nonprofit, literally probably about 2 months before I got my first law license, but I do wanna be remembered for helping people, changing
Mhm,
lives, and I also wanna be remembered as a person who went for it, that I
mhm.
as I say, never settle, I went
Right.
for it. Yeah, whatever I wanted to do, I did it,
Mhm,
So,
mhm.
definitely helping people, inspiring people, and just a girl or a lady who went for what she wanted.
I think you're a testament to all women out there that
Appreciate that.
literally has led by example. You went for it, as you just eloquently stated. You didn't take no for an answer. And yes, you had some great rearing from your dad, but
Yeah,
ultimately the choice was yours to go in
absolutely,
this direction.
absolutely.
And I think, and I'm not kidding. This is not an exercise in smoke.
Right.
I am literally telling you what everything that I've read on you.
Mhm.
You're literally the real deal. You're making a difference there in H Town. Folks love you there, and your colleagues especially. And your reviews are just nothing but just incredible. So thank you
Thank you.
for that.
No, I'm trying. I'm
Mhm.
trying. Thank you, and thank you. What you're doing is great, introducing us to all of these different lawyers, in this legal profession.
Well, we're trying, and that's actually how we, our mission from day one, right?
Right.
Our number one mandate uh, since day one has never changed, and
Right.
that's to
Right.
leave our listeners and our
Right.
viewers
Right.
better than the way we found them, because we
Right.
want to arm them
Right.
with the knowledge that they need to make the right choices
Right.
uh, when something's happened to them, right? When they need legal help, legal advice,
Right.
we want to arm them with that information, and
Right.
it's vital. It's our number one cause to make sure that we're we're actually giving back to to the community at large. So,
And you've done a great job of that. You're a
oh,
great example of that. I was watching some of your podcasts. You've done a very what you guys are doing here and presenting to the community is great. It really is.
that's very kind of you. Thank you so very much for that. Um, through all of this, and you've literally been through a lot of different cases. You had your ideals, I believe, starting out 10 years ago,
Almost in.
uh, as you were saying. Um, but if you go all the way to today,
Hmm. Hmm.
uh, July of 2026,
Right, right, right.
has your ideals changed? Has what you thought that the law was or that justice is or was, has it changed? But more importantly, what does the law mean to Venetia Arnold today?
Well, okay. The law is, it's a living, breathing thing,
Mhm,
and to bring it down bare bones, like in a courtroom, when you're
mhm,
standing before a judge trying to accomplish whatever you're
mhm,
trying to accomplish, whether you're representing yourself or representing your client,
mhm.
and it justice. Because I have some attorneys out there. I know that they don't believe in justice, and
Right.
I get what they're saying because sometimes I question justice too. But
Mhm,
I all I can say is you have to fight. You have to
mhm,
fight. Step into a courtroom. You do your research on the judge.
mhm,
Whatever it is you're trying to do. Hopefully, you have the correct law. And you just have to believe and have faith that whatever it is you're trying to do, you will get it done. You will get that ruling, that extension, continuance, whatever, because
mhm.
the concept of justice, uh, you have to fight. That's all I can say. You have to fight, because I sometimes myself with certain things I see in the legal system, civil and criminally, I have to shake my head personally. But it's there, you just have to fight. You have to fight for what you want, you have to fight.
And, as we uh, alluded to earlier,
Hmm.
uh, justice totally means something different to everybody, right? As
Yeah.
you're saying, it literally is different for everybody because,
Yeah.
yeah, I've talked to some folks that are just
Yeah.
like, justice, what justice?
Yeah, they
And
don't.
then
Yeah.
you have folks that are like, they say, well, it's the only system we have,
Yeah.
so we have to make it work, right? Or
It's a
people,
flawed
like I
system.
said, you're always going to get different
Yeah.
opinions on that.
Yeah, it's a flawed system. I would definitely say that the justice system is flawed, and I think most lawyers across the board can agree with that.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
yeah.
And what's one thing that just makes you get out of bed every morning when you know that either you're picking a jury for a trial, or is it that you can't wait to get to the office to tell the client, "Hey, we finally got a great settlement," or what part of the process, this whole process,
Right.
really just makes you jump out of bed in the morning?
I like helping people. I like checking my phone, seeing what the
Mhm,
receptionists are saying, what kind of calls came in. I like
mhm,
helping people, and then I got some good leads. I get on the phone with those potential clients, tell me what happened,
mhm.
and then and people love telling you what happened. They love telling you their problems. They love telling you about the accident, and we go from there with it. So I like helping people.
What would you say to folks out there? Because there is a faction of people out there
Hmm.
that just because a police officer, a sheriff deputy, or we'll just say a law enforcement person in general, right, uh, has deemed your client as the responsible party for this mayhem, right?
Okay.
But we all know that the officer or law enforcement officer official is relying on hearsay, right, from other witnesses.
Okay. Okay.
Now, what do you say to our listeners out there uh, if they're ever faced with a situation where they know they weren't responsible for this accident,
Right.
but the ticket they received at the accident says different? Now, this particular potential client
Okay.
is injured. They're needing help, but yet they're being told they're responsible. should they still contact you or
Oh,
contact a
absolutely.
lawyer?
Absolutely. First thing about any accident, you give no recorded statements. You give no written statements, no recorded statements.
Mhm,
You have nothing to say. You
mhm,
take pictures of the scene. That's it. Call,
mhm.
call me. That's all.
Yeah,
Take pictures of the scene. Call me.
yeah,
Definitely don't tell the police anything. And
right.
those witnesses, that, like you said, that's hearsay. That's not going to
Mhm,
hold up anyway.
mhm.
So, I mean, no, no recorded statements, no written statements. Just call the Arnold Law Firm. No. Don't ruin your case. Don't ruin your
Yeah,
case.
I've heard a lot of horror stories,
Yeah,
and then uh, and then incredible victories that came
yeah,
along with that because
yeah,
they literally took it to a lawyer and
yeah.
said the lawyer said, "Oh, that's crazy.
Right,
That could not have happened the way they say it
right,
happened, so to
right,
speak, right?" And
right,
that's why the point was it's so important for them to call you,
right. Yeah,
even if they're unsure,
yeah.
because you'll make that determination. You're
Exactly,
the legal expert,
exactly.
and that's what people need to remember. They need to trust in their lawyer,
Right,
and like I said, it could go even worse for them because if they're not responsible, guess
right,
who's going to have to pay for all their med bills, right?
right. They are, and they could end up being stuck with that. No, yet no social media, no recorded.
Right.
Yeah, no written statements, no recorded. Yeah, shut it down. Just call your lawyer. Just shut it down. Yeah,
And a lot of people don't. They literally don't remember to not do that, and they
yeah,
start saying, "Hey, look what happened to me."
yeah.
The
No,
next thing you know, you see them partying somewhere.
no,
Oh,
no. Don't do that because the insurance adjusters, they're investigating. They're looking at everything, anything so that they can lessen their liability. So no, no, don't nothing public. Just keep it to yourself. If you got something you want to say, call your lawyer and tell them. You know,
right.
yeah, yeah.
Share it with your lawyer first.
Yeah, and share it with only your attorney because you don't wanna mess up your case.
That's right.
Yeah, it'll help your case. I mean, they can do what they want, but if you wanna try to get the maximum compensation that what we're trying to do for you, just don't tell anyone. You can tell them when it's over and the check is deposited in your bank you know, but don't do it right now.
It's counterintuitive, and
Yes, it can hurt
they need to realize that, yeah, they could
can hurt
be
you.
shooting themselves literally in the foot
Right.
if anyone out there finds themselves in this horrible situation, just horrible car accident, or their loved ones, right?
Mhm,
Uh,
mhm.
that have been involved in an 18-wheeler accident or any kind of wreck known to man.
Right.
Uh, how do they reach you? Can you tell my audience exactly how they can get in touch with you?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, my website is attorneyarnold.com.
Hmm.
Attorney, we know how to spell that. Arnold, my last name,
Hmm.
Arnold. Phone number 346 222 222 1209. Toll free 855 848 0855. And if you just want to reach out to me directly, VA, my initials, at attorneyarnold.com. And the case review consultation, all that is free. And I'll talk to you as long as I need to talk to you. I know some lawyers that say we give them a 10-minute free consultation. No, yeah, I've had some put limits on their consultations. I said, no, just call me and we'll talk. Don't
Absolutely.
worry about the time. I'm here to serve you. I'm here to help you.
And that's what I was exactly what I was talking about earlier on. This is a great example of true advocacy here.
Right.
Because what if your story goes longer than 10 minutes? I mean, how are
Exactly.
you going to
Yeah.
cut somebody off
Yeah.
and do that? That it's I mean, it's tacky, it's rude, it's
Exactly.
unprofessional.
Exactly. So
And you know what? In that 11th minute or 12th minute, it could have been a huge key for the case. But,
exactly. Yeah.
and they got shut down.
Yeah. Because a lot of people want you to listen, and so that's
That's
what I'm
right.
here for. I'll listen and I'll give you my opinion after that and let you know how I can help you.
Yeah. Or if you can't,
Yeah.
maybe somebody who maybe could, right?
Oh, yeah, I refer yeah, like, the criminal cases and family, I refer all that out. And,
Mhm.
depending on what type of P like, if you're sending me a PI case that's like it's like, "Okay, I'll have to bring some of the lawyers on to help with this." But, just it just depends. That's why I say just call me and we can talk about it, you know? We can talk about
That's
it.
right. Venetia, I can't thank you enough for taking time out of your very busy schedule to spend time with us today and educate my listeners and myself.
Yeah.
And I just want you to know it's been a genuine honor to have you on today. So I want to thank you for that.
Yes, thank you for having me on. I really enjoyed this, and you're doing a great work here. You really are.
Oh my God. Well, we thank you for those kind words. We strive for excellence, and
Right.
that's what we try to. That's how we wake up every morning. That's what we do. Is we're
Exactly.
striving for excellence every
Exactly.
single day,
Uh,
and like I said, we're growing every day, literally.
yes.
And so, yes, so we're going to have you on a bunch. We're hereby offering you an open invitation to be on this podcast anytime you're available.
Oh, wow,
We'll
thank
make it
you.
happen. Venetia, if you don't mind hanging on
I
for
will.
just a second, I need
I
to say
will.
goodbye to the audience,
I
and then
will.
I'll be right back with you.
Okay, absolutely. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Venetia Arnold, the one, the only. Folks, give her a call if you ever find yourself in any kind of calamity, any kind of legal issue that you've been hurt, or your loved one or your family members have been hurt due to someone else's negligence. Remember this: even if the law enforcement officers say that you're at fault, let the experts decide that.
Right.
Don't decide that for yourself and just take it at face value, and then just go on incurring more suffering. So remember to do that. Folks, there's a lot of doom and gloom going on in the world
Right.
today. Do yourselves a favor. Get out there and love somebody today. I will see
Absolutely.
y'all up the road. I love y'all. I will forever. Bye.
Bye-bye.